Do you see it as like, what do you see in the middle of that activation?
I guess the best way to say it is I feel that I'm in this process of like actively releasing those old ways, that old version of myself.
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna say. So I wanted to see if you were seeing that, and that's beautiful. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you were having your time in Thailand, and you were doing the Undoing Dysfunction course at the same
Yeah.
time, and your state changed. You were shifting
Yes.
states, right? So everything, and then you come back to your old life, just a way to speak. And everything that belonged to who you were before you started shifting states of consciousness, that is like it it's activated, and it's trying to, it's kind of like it doesn't know what to, it's dying off because you can't be that anymore,
Yes.
and you're kind of just coming into a new version of yourself that hasn't yet come in. It's like pregnant,
Yes.
and it's coming, it's birthing, and
Yeah.
yet all this old stuff, it has to somehow, to die to it, it has to be that as it plays out, you to embody that process is really like, as it plays out, you no longer are able to go in those ways, and you step in with a new way in the face of that, and in
Yeah.
that way you evolve the body. Yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, it's like it's emptying out.
Yeah. And I actually, I said to someone a few days ago, the baby's crowning. And
Crowning.
yeah. And when the head is right there,
Right.
the ring of fire is what it's
Yeah,
called when you're birthing.
right.
And while you were dropping, I saw that image, and I saw that it was my head that was crowning the top
Right. Right.
of this
Yeah.
head.
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
and what we were talking about is being at zero.
Yeah.
um again to bring in this birthing metaphor, when you're
Yeah.
pushing the baby out, they
Yeah.
talk about, plus one, plus two, plus three stage as you're
Right.
pushing the head further and further out.
Right.
So in some ways, I feel like I'm at zero, and I'm birthing myself
Yeah.
into this new thing, and here I am, and specifically with my kids, and they're working through, the trauma that I passed on to them, and they're interacting me as if I'm still the person that I
Of course.
was. And
Of course. Of course. And you're not that anymore. You can't be
no,
guilty for any of that. You are not guilty
no,
of any of that, for it is not who you are.
yeah,
Right? It's not who you are. The state that you were in, the conditioned state that you were in when you passed on those, unconsciously passed on those traumas, as you said, the state that you were in, you're not in that state anymore. So you can't identify with it. You're not guilty. And in that state, you were innocent. Yeah? You innocently
yeah,
were passing on whatever, because you didn't have the awareness, right? So yeah, so it's like they are relating to a version of you that they, um, layers of themselves is a match to. Yeah.
mm, yeah,
Yeah. So when you start changing and you start relating differently to that, then you're also calling on them a newness, which can, it can be, depending on their state of awareness, it can be difficult for them to, because they think they are those patterns,
Yeah. Yes. And the trickiness of, that that motherly instinct to want to save and fix and
Yeah, yeah, and fix and
do,
yeah,
wipe their butt. Yeah. And just having to, let go and accept that, I mean, in some ways they're both in their early 20s. I mean, that's kind of the period of time where we all blame our parents for everything, right? So, I mean, if I just need to let them have that, if that's where they're at, and
yeah, yeah,
I have to continue on my path. And
yeah. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Metamorphosis.
big
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
big time. The space has been really important, because I can feel the pull of those old dysfunctional ways, you know, wanting to pull me back into that,
Of course.
and I don't want to be that person anymore.
You can't be. You can't be.
Mhm.
Now that you are aware of that, it's too painful to play that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those energies are pulling you, like trying to pull that from you, because they need that to survive. It needs that food.
Yeah.
It's like that, what's been created in them feeds off that relationship with that dysfunctional aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real growth time, and it like really, really, really demands and requires that you are so true to each
Mhm.
movement of your being.